Howdy folks, my name is Howdy and you're watching Brickity Split, the show where we talk all things LEGO Star Wars. And unfortunately, LEGO Star Wars is in a bit of a dark age, with 2025 being one of the darkest and most damaging years for the community that we've seen. The year started with some very overpriced sets and we thought for sure this would be our new standard, but no, that standard was immediately exceeded by the next wave of sets that was even more overpriced. And I think more and more fans every day are accumulating more resentment for LEGO. At this point, there's a lot of people seeing quality issues in these sets as the prices continue to rise, and we're losing faith a little bit. So let's quickly break down the mistakes that LEGO has made this year and how I think they can be fixed, realistically speaking. I will start by saying, freaking 95% of these builds this year have been phenomenal. The designs are strong and detailed with modern building techniques that look gorgeous, but I don't think there's a single set this year that has gone completely unscathed by controversy, and the January wave was definitely very controversial. No one was too worried about the overpricing. I think the worst offender was probably Ahsoka's Jedi Interceptor at $45, which is definitely too much considering how Anakin's Interceptor from a few years back was $30 and was pretty much the same shape. Granted, this does have an extra minifigure. Generally, the minifigures this year have been fantastic. I'll get to that later though. This cockpit piece, I don't know why they changed it. I think it looks way worse, but it does look like a versatile piece. Maybe they'll reuse that mold for future sets that would look pretty good, but here I don't think it works. And the ARC 170, pretty widely agreed upon that it is also overpriced at $70. The previous ARC 170s being $40 and $60 from 2005 and 2010 respectively. I mean, adjust that for inflation, you're still looking at way less value in this new model. And LEGO just cannot be bothered to double print these things so it doesn't come out so washed and transparent, meanwhile advertising that it looks perfect. LEGO knows what they should be doing, they have the money to do it, and they don't do it. And if we're being honest with ourselves, that shouldn't surprise us because LEGO's a billion-dollar company, they don't care about your feelings. That's my issue. If they marketed this product honestly with the misprints and everything, I wouldn't care. I would still wish for change and for it to be better, but I wouldn't really be that upset about it. They know what we want and they promise it on the box and then they rip it from our little hands. And these are honestly the best Clone Trooper minifigures we've had since probably the Republic fighter tank. It's like every time there's a set remake like this, it takes one step forward with these awesome minifigures and then two steps backward with the build and the value and the false advertising. But I think the set with the best value probably for this entire year would be Grogu with his hover pram. $100 gets you a decently sized representation of Baby Yoda that's quite articulated actually, with moving ears and arms and things. Not really my kind of set though. I don't see myself purchasing this, but they did a fantastic job. And one of the cooler buildable characters for sure. It's got more play features and stuff. And then we got a couple mini sets, the $50 Acclimator and the $70 Home One. I think if this were $45 instead and this were $60, that'd be about perfect. But otherwise, no complaints, man. These are awesome builds. This is a little messy looking, but if I squint, it does look like the Home One. I'll give them that. It is a very difficult shape to capture with Lego pieces. And then the freaking ugliest 4+ set I've ever seen. Not off to an awesome start. I've seen a lot better waves, but we could be doing a lot worse. Let's see what's next. And while LEGO value is kind of at an all-time low, I will say their buildable characters and helmets and stuff have been pretty darn good. Midi-scale builds, not so much. I think 90% of the community would easily give up some of these buildable characters for more playsets with minifigures and such, and I definitely was in that boat, but with how the playsets have been looking these days, I don't know. Things were looking up in May though, with quite a nice wave. Downscaling is still very prevalent with the U-Wing remake, but man, the little troop bay underbelly thing is so depressing. You can fit like one guy laying down. It's so sad. This is not a $70 set. I don't know what LEGO was doing making this ship so small. They nailed the shape of everything, but it's too damn small. Make it about this size with this amount of space, and then charge $100 for it. I guarantee you people are going to complain like half as much. It's like when the designers improve their sets, they're like, this is too good, we gotta knock it down a peg, what can we sacrifice? And every time they say we can sacrifice size. Don't do that. I'd like to believe that downscaling is coming to a very near end, because we can't get a whole lot smaller than this without just being like a freaking microfighter at this point. And LEGO knows they have that power and that leverage over us, which is why they keep jacking the prices up if we want to buy a set that's half decent. And speaking of microfighters and smaller builds, that Plo Koon microfighter's fantastic. I mean, it's $15, which is kind of ridiculous. They didn't even give my homie a body. Charge $15 for it, sure. Just give my man some freedom. And let me just say, the Plo Koon remake, I have always been a hater of the Plo Koon head mold, even though it was all we had. This makes me hate it even more. This is such a huge improvement, and they actually had some balls and made it like a harder plastic instead of like the floppy rubber useless dingaloids. Helmet sets, awesome. This one looks just a little small. I feel like they could have jacked the price up $10 and made it look a little beefier. This is Christian Bale, and this is Christian Bale when he loses tons of weight for a role. You know, it just looks like it's dieting, or it's like it's too skinny. But man, the fact that those parts are printed, super cool. Keep doing that, and stop doing this. No one wants to put this many stickers on shit. And then LEGO dropped a freaking bomb on us with the UCS Jango Slave 1. 1, possibly a top 5 UCS set of all time, a near flawless Jango Fett with a new rangefinder and wonderful prints. They should have given him a printed little headset or mouthpiece or whatever. I mean, Anakin and Obi-Wan, they get that treatment. Why not give them to this guy? I mean, for $300, that sure would be nice. And Boba, no, this is just ridiculous. You could ask my great Uncle Joe, who watched this movie once, does that look like young Boba Fett? He will tell you no. But LEGO certainly isn't letting us down this year with the UCS sets so far. That's another area of LEGO that I feel is in a good place, where the UCS sets aren't too overpriced because what you're getting is magnificent, you know, minus the occasional small discrepancy. I'm looking at you. It is comforting to know that somewhere out there is a good quality LEGO product if you're willing to shell out 300 clams for it. And buildable characters, my goodness, they're so good this year, but there are so many. My Baby Yoda and Pram, we just got a big Baby Yoda, but sure. Chopper, cool, but who asked, you know? Battle droid with staff, this looks incredible. Huh? And K2SO is fine, actually. Good job. $90 for this towering behemoth with accurately awkward stature? Yes, please, take my money. And the May the 4th promo, oh my goodness, this is doing the Lord's work for what May the 4th promos should be. An obscure, small build we wouldn't have gotten otherwise with exclusive figures, all you gotta do, that is it. That is as complicated as it needs to be. Even just one minifigure we wouldn't get otherwise in a polybag. Sure, I'd take it. It's better than some of the crap we've had in the past. These figures are fantastic. It's like the 7th time we've gotten dual molded legs for any LEGO Star Wars character. So that was definitely a sight for sore eyes and a bit of a rough year with LEGO. Man, much like their sets, LEGO as a company and how they treat this community, it takes one step forward, 2 steps back, or 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You know, they're always compromising. If they evolve in one way, they have to regress in another way, and it sucks. And much like with any year of LEGO Star Wars, you know, you've got your duds, your mediocre minifigures and mediocre builds filling the shelves. You're gonna be seeing these on clearance a lot, just letting you know. And the advent calendar, this leaked really early on in the year. I didn't expect to see it so soon, but it is a droid-themed advent calendar. No. This is the lamest lineup of minifigures I've seen in a set. Everyone's freaking out about Babu Frick. I think that's dumb. He's kind of just like a meme, so I guess if he has value for you in that way, go for it. And the Snowman BB-8, I guess, is cool. I'm really in it for this Buzz Droid. That's the most exciting part about this set for me. And just all these builds are just like some kind of mechanical shop house, whatever. Very disappointing advent calendar. I love advent calendars. The last one was maybe the best one we've ever had, and I was really looking forward to see how they would top that, and they didn't. They bottomed it a lot. Okay, man, that was exhausting. That was a lot of controversy, but certainly it doesn't get any... it doesn't get any worse, right? Oh no. This wave of August sets has some of the highest highs and lowest lows any of us have ever seen. It doesn't take a community member who's been around the block to know that these sets are not up to standard. I've been seeing more and more people outside the LEGO Star Wars space look at these prices and look at what you're getting, and they can't make the connection either. They know it's overpriced to hell and back, and they're an uneducated consumer. They don't know what LEGO Star Wars value usually looks like, but sadly none of these sets are bad. I truly believe that all of these could be considered good and well-received sets if they were just priced properly. The worst offender here is this turbo tank. $160 gets you 800 pieces. Are you sure? Are you sure about that? If I saw this on store shelves for $90 or even $100, I'd be like, okay, cool, that looks kind of neat. And I'm sure other people would agree. I mean, that fits well within the price per piece. That's not unfair or unreasonable, LEGO, come on. The Galactic Marines look so good. Waist capes would be awesome. You're making so many cloth pieces for other LEGO themes. Can we please get some here? At least we still have our capes. If they rubberize you, I'm gonna be so sad. And Commander Bakara, I mean, okay, a quick detour. We're moving on to talking about these damn helmets. There's a lot of LEGO simps who will come out and defend this despite its wrongness. I'm not gonna stand for it. Look at these cheeks. Too dark. That's not how they look.
Oh, it's dark to try to emulate the shadow from the indentation.
Have you heard that real life shadows also make things dark? This visor print is pathetic. It probably bothers me more than the helmet holes at this point. This thing is so tiny. It's too angular. It's supposed to have some curvature to it. Doesn't this look so much better? And get rid of these ass wipes while we're at it. Now, before you leave that obnoxious comment, it's not the hole that's the issue. It's where it is. Get rid of this nonsense. Drill a hole in here. That's a good helmet. I like the accessories, even the ones that look like shit, but they do not belong up here. This looks so dumb. This looks so bad. I hate you. And the worst part is, if this is just always how clones looked, I wouldn't really care. They literally nailed it. Second try, perfect movie accuracy, looks beautiful. And then this company that proclaims they are all about the accuracy and the consistency with their product, they mess it up some more. We're evolving, but backwards to the point where it's worse than the first try. Some people have theorized that LEGO is purposefully making their product product worse, so they have more room to improve later and they can prolong their longevity in the market or whatever. And I think that is very sound. I think that's probably what these motherfuckers are doing. They know how to make the perfect product and they are just leading us on about it. Okay, back to the turbo tank, or the Juggernaut. I've never heard anyone call it that. Maybe there's some like lore truth to it. Maybe it's like a slightly different kind of turbo tank. Who cares? $160 for this is awful. Please never buy this set unless it's like at least 30% off. I can also part out this build for like 40 bucks on Bricklick if I wanted to. Oh yeah, and one more thing. This build is freaking horrible. There's no structural integrity. It just falls apart if you so much as look at it wrong, which especially sucks because LEGO has been so good and consistent about making their builds very sturdy. So they gave us a movie inaccurate, overpriced, bad product, and it doesn't even hold itself together? I mean, compromise after compromise after compromise. I don't see this going on much longer before some serious consequences happen. I see more and more people like legitimately giving up the hobby of collecting LEGO because of these sets. The Force Burner Snow Speeder. I think it's funny it's called a Snow Speeder when, you know, look at it. But this thing looks fantastic. $55 though, my gosh. This speeder looks really dumb, and I was about to hate on it, but it can actually like slide into the back of the speeder, and that can be like your passenger seat or whatever. But that is super cool. Please keep doing that. It really reminds me of the classic LEGO Star Wars sets from, you know, 1999 and the early 2000s. And then another stab? A fourth one? Meanwhile, you're not improving your clone troopers for consistency? Okay, Grandma, let's get you back to bed. I don't know who this guy is. I am excited to find out. He looks badass. Again, it's just the price that sucks ass. A buildable Ewok? Who asked? This set was actually heavily rumored to be around $90, so when they revealed the official price of $130, it hit extra hard. Especially when there's another 1,000 piece buildable character this year that's only $100, it's way better. Yeah, $130, $140. I'm not seeing it, but I mean, he looks good, sure. A battle pack is $45 now. Fuck, I guess. And the clone troopers. We've had pauldrons that go 360 degrees around the clone trooper before. Why is this half printed and half molded? This is so dumb. Like, imagine if the top half of Darth Vader's cape was a cloth piece and the bottom half was printed on. Like, oh, they'll get it, you know. No, this looks like garbage. What are you doing? Now, despite my gripes with how this piece was handled, it is a huge improvement over this super oversized blanket over Captain Rex's shoulder. I hate that. But it shouldn't be proud to be an improvement over this, like, absolute trash. So I'm still not happy about it, but it is technically better. It is a really sad day in the LEGO Star Wars community when the spider droid is the best part about the build. The walker I think looks kind of cool, especially the feet and legs area looks very well constructed and stable and stuff. Can we stop doing this, please? It is so dumb. The V-19 Torrent, man, I heard rumors this was going to be 55 for 567 pieces. I said A-okay, and then boom, 65, just like that. And sadly, this is the best value of the entire August wave. It is the least overpriced set here. This build definitely has very thick and chonky wings when the V-19 in universe is quite long and thin. A lot of people have been calling this like chibi or microfighter V-19 Torrent, and I think that's an exaggeration. However, I have found that this does more closely resemble the proportionality of the original appearance of the V-19 Torrent in the 2003 Clone Wars animated miniseries, but obviously given the minifigures, that is not what they were going for, so it's still a discrepancy. Now, compared to the behemoth of the 2008 V-19 Torrent, absolutely, this looks like a microfighter, but that thing was huge. This one looks good. This one gets probably the biggest thumb up from any set in this wave. This clone visor. Can we stop shrinking the visors? That sure would be nice. Jango Fett's Playscale Starship. Not bad. We got the same thing for $50, and that was like 3 years ago. But that Lama Su is looking pretty fine, I'm not gonna lie. But they did take my boy's arm printing. But yeah, I don't really see $70 in this, even at 700 pieces. I know half of those pieces take up one stud of space. You're not fooling me with that price per piece, nuh-uh. And then probably everyone's favorite set of this wave, the MTT. This is the first MTT we've gotten with kind of that Clone Wars paint job with the gray and the blue. But I mean, this looks fantastic. This is a small downscale from the 2014 MTT, which was a very large downscale from the 2007 MTT. But this doesn't really make very many sacrifices for its downscale. It gets smaller and pretty much everything else gets better. The droid deployment function is fantastic. You could easily fit 4 droids on either side, and they just didn't do that. I don't know why. Kinda sound like something a bitch would do. For $160, I still want a much bigger MTT. And the suckiest part is, at $160, they could have made this as big as the 2007 MTT. I think it would have been a pretty fair price if it was around that size, and they just made it so small. Commando droids are back. That's cool. You're gray now. Okay. You get another new stab design with very short, stubby little guns. I don't hate it because they're hollowed out. They actually look like real guns that could shoot things at you. I just don't want our precious stabs being affected by the downsizing. I don't think that's too much to ask. And then Commander Blythe, they just really like messing up these helmet prints. Pauldron still looks bad too, and the printed waist capes. I'm so depressed about modern clones. Ayla, her lips changed color. Okay. This is not the first instance of LEGO doing something like this. Like, this one instance of it doesn't really bother me that much. It's just like, why is this such an issue for you? LEGO just has so many issues, and we're kind of in a rough place right now. 2025 has already left a very bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, and there's not much left in the year to be hopeful for, so I sure hope LEGO's gonna pull out all the stops on these last sets and just make them as good as they can be. I mean, especially at price points like this. Oh my goodness. Gotta take out a loan for the LEGOs now. I love LEGOs, and I love Star Wars, and I would really like those things to continue a partnership, but man, it is not leading to the best of things these days. There's already rumors for 2026, and I'm sure there's a lot of people turning their backs on 2025 and looking to that hopefully brighter future. I just don't see the prices getting any worse than this before the fans start literally fighting back. Boycott, boycott, boy. Anyways, I got a lot of stuff to say about these sets, and I'll save most of that for when I do my 2025 set ranking video. Be sure to stay tuned if you're excited for that. But yeah, that is going to conclude my 2025 rant. We are not happy. We are not eating well these days. But let this serve as fuel for the fire of the community. Let this bring us closer together and strengthen our bond. We must unite against the forces of that cost too much money. But yeah, that's it for this kind of rant style video. If you guys would like to see more things like this in the future, be sure to let me know by leaving a comment or a like. And if you stuck around all the way to the end, man, I really appreciate it. Here's a couple more videos up on the screen that you might be interested in. Once again, I am Howdy. This has been Brickity Split. Thank you so much for watching. I love you, and take it easy. Man, he's sexy as shit, I'm not gonna lie.